Hi guys, today I'm here with my first ever meal prep video. You requested this from my meal prep Sunday series on Snapchat. You said you wanted to see it here on YouTube. It's going to be a part of my bonus Saturday video, so you're not losing a beauty video, you are just gaining a meal prep video. I'm showing you two super simple, approachable meals today. So a vegetarian stuffed pepper and then kind of like a sweet, spicy, lean ground turkey with a cauliflower rice. If you have dietary restrictions, if you hate an ingredient I'm using, feel free to sub out and do as you like. These are just kind of ideas, and I am not a chef, I am not a professional. Gordon Ramsay has a great YouTube channel if you're looking for that, but these are just things that I like to keep in the fridge for lunch or dinner. If I don't eat them during the week, I will freeze them, and I don't like to prep all of my meals either. I get really bored of food, and I used to prep like all my meals, and then I just... Okay, clearly Rue wants me to stop rambling, but as I said, these are just approachable meals. I'm not claiming that they're like the healthiest, best options out there, but these are things that I really like, that I know that I'm gonna actually end up eating during the week and not like leaving it in the fridge to get moldy and buying takeout. So let's go ahead and get started. The first recipe is the sweet and spicy lean ground turkey, and everything I'm using is on my blog listed below. Using a cauliflower snow, extra lean ground turkey, carrots, edamame, green onions along with pineapple chunks or tidbits, garlic, some sriracha, honey, and low sodium soy sauce, sesame oil, and gomasio. I'm starting with prepping my carrots. They're going to take the longest depending on the size of carrot you use. Generally, I would just use baby carrots because it's a lot easier, but they didn't have any at the store. So these cooked for about 40-45 minutes depending on your preference. So I am just chopping these up, and I'm going to put them in the same sauce that I'm using for the meat just to kind of simplify things. So in that sauce, I'm using a 1/4 cup of honey, a 1/2 cup of low sodium soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sriracha, adjust that to your spice preferences, and then a teaspoon of sesame oil. Sesame oil is so good to have in your house if you love doing Asian cooking. I'm using about 1/3 of this marinade on the carrots, just kind of tossing it in there, and then adding, you'll see gomasio on top, which is just sea salt, garlic, and sesame seeds. So if you don't have gomasio, you can just use those ingredients. Popping these in the oven, and depending on your preference, I let these cook for about 40 minutes. I've added some sesame oil to the pan and then my extra lean ground turkey. You don't need to use a wok, but I was just using so many pans this day to cook, and woks are actually really great, super non-stick. Then my cauliflower snow. I bought this at Costco. You could just as easily, or not as easily, buy a cauliflower head and use a food processor to create this. And I added in just a little water to help it cook faster, some salt, some pepper, and just stirring that around. Continuing to cook my lean ground turkey, and there was a little bit of liquid that came out of it. So I ended up just kind of dumping that out because I like when I add the honey mixture that it gets a little bit caramelized and crispy, and with a bunch of water in there, you can't really achieve that. So I'm adding in the rest of that liquid and almost turning up the heat just slightly to help the sugars in there caramelize. For the cauliflower rice, I'm just making a little hole in the center, adding in the edamame, and then just letting it cook a little bit more till it becomes slightly more translucent, but you can cook it to your preference. And of course, if you don't eat meat, you can sub out the extra lean ground turkey for whatever you like. Adding in the pineapple chunks and then some of the pineapple juice that was in the can. You can again skip pineapple, but to me this completely makes the meal and makes it so much more interesting and delicious. I love pineapple even on my pizza. Then taking out the carrots and just kind of giving those a little stir around, I put down tinfoil and parchment paper to create less mess for myself, and I should have added this in earlier, but I'm adding in a little bit of minced garlic into my cauliflower because it is kind of plain. You could even add a little soy sauce in there if you want, just for added flavor. So here's the finished product. I have my extra lean ground turkey, my carrots, and then my cauliflower rice. You can also use real rice if you want it to be a little more filling. I like to play around, so I have been enjoying cauliflower rice, but definitely use more than you would of regular rice because it is nowhere near as filling, of course, but it's definitely lower carb and lower calorie. So whatever you prefer, absolutely go that route. Adding in my meat on top of that. These containers are just from Dollarama, nothing fancy. And there's something just so satisfying about looking at meal prep in the containers. I don't know what it is. And then adding my carrots in there as well. Sprinkling on a little bit of that green onion for some freshness and more of the gomasio. And then here is the finished product. Moving on to the vegetarian stuffed peppers, I'm of course using Pepper's Textured Vegetable Protein, or TVP, mini portobello mushrooms, some vine tomatoes, a red onion, along with some spices, chipotle powder, chili powder, and some chili flakes, and then some barbecue sauce, and spinach and cheese. The first thing I'm going to do is rehydrate my TVP, and you're probably like, what the hell is that? It's called Textured Vegetable Protein, and it's a soy product. It looks like rabbit food, I know, but it's a great replacement for ground meat, and it has basically no flavor, so it's up to you to kind of add the flavor. You can, of course, use ground meat or whatever you like, but I do encourage you to try this. I get mine at Bulk Barn. I rehydrated it with some hot water. Then I'm chopping up my tomatoes, and I really like to just kind of bulk it up and add as much flavor as possible. So I'm chopping up vine tomatoes, which I think are the best. Red onion, again, that is my preference, but use whatever kind of onion and filling that you like. These are just the kind of things that I like. As I mentioned, I'm not a chef. Another great option if you're looking to lower the amount of meat that you eat is mushrooms. The texture and flavor is just so good. You can of course use meat if you want, whatever you like. It's just a personal preference for me to try and decrease my intake a little bit where I can and where I choose to. So adding this all to a pan and kind of browning it to add a little bit of flavor. I had some oil in the pan as well. Then adding in 2 tablespoons of my barbecue sauce and the chipotle powder, chili powder, and chili flakes, depending on how spicy you like it, along with my minced garlic. I added in a little bit more water in here to help hydrate. I like to add in water as I go instead of adding too much water and then it's harder to get rid of. But I really like TVP. If you have tried it before and like it, let me know down in the comments because I know people are going to be skeptical of this. I would be too. Adding in some spinach. This is such an easy way to get in some greens, and it looks like a lot, but you'll see as I cook it down, it basically completely disappears. And it just is such a nice way to get some added nutrients. I've cut my peppers in half and prepped them with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and stuffing it with my TVP mixture. If you want to make this easier on yourself, just totally skip the stuffed pepper thing, adding some cheese on there now, and just cut up the peppers, add it into your TVP mixture, serve it on top of rice, and that's even easier, but I do like the portability of a stuffed pepper, and I just like the way that it looks. So here are my finished stuffed peppers. Adding these into a container. You can serve these with rice, salad, have them on your own. I just like having them in the fridge to kind of do as I please, and I'll eat 1 or 2 depending on how hungry I am. And here is the finished product. Again, these containers are from Dollarama. Only the best. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any requests, anything you'd like to see done differently for this video. I mean, this is my first one ever. There's going to be a little bit of growing pains, but I had lots of fun filming it. I hope you enjoyed it because I'd love to do more. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!